So I watched Wonder Woman 1984 yesterday for the first time, and I put it off after a few weeks because of two reasons. One, I work in a movie theater, and I thought this movie is something that you should see on the big screen. It was one of those movies that I needed that experience. I feel strange watching it on my living room television instead of in theaters, because usually I watch these movies at a theater. But with COVID going on, we were closed for a few weeks. We're open today. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to watch it because I probably should. I loved the first one so much. And two, the other reason why I think I put it off so long is because I didn't think the critical and the critics and the audience reaction to this, I didn't think it'd be that bad. Everybody was talking about how big of a letdown this movie was, and I was off-put by it because the first Wonder Woman is absolutely fantastic. It's really freaking good. So hearing that this one was a disappointment, it made me worry, so I put it off. And I finally watched it. And yeah, it's unfortunately a huge disappointment. Here in Wonder Woman 1984, Diana has been living her life curating ancient artifacts and getting more in touch with her powers by helping day-to-day people. But when a strange artifact that can grant you your wishes comes into the possession of Max Lord, he wants to grant everyone's wishes with getting something back in return, only causing more and more chaos. I think that's the best way I can explain what this movie is about. There were things that I really liked about this movie, and there were things that I didn't. And unfortunately, there were more things that I didn't like about it than things that I actually really liked. So I guess I'll start off with the things that I really liked. In the beginning of the film, we get our first glimpse of 1984. With the outfits, with the setting, with the mall. It felt like it was shot in the 80s. I don't know if they were using a filter or whatever, but there were so many moments when I was watching it, I kept saying, oh my god, this looks like it was made in the 80s. It was gorgeous to look at. And I love anything set in the 80s, so I was extremely excited to see it like this. Another thing I actually really liked, and a lot of people are put off by, is the acting in this movie. It's very, very cartoonish. Now, I don't know if that's what Patty Jenkins was going for, but a lot of the performances are way over the top, very cartoonish. It almost feels like a Saturday morning cartoon at times. It reminded me of Richard Donner's Superman, the cheesiness of a superhero movie, because let's face the facts, a lot of superhero movies that came out in the 70s and 80s, they were super cheesy, very over the top, but they were really good. And unfortunately though, for Wonder Woman 84, it wasn't like Superman 1 or 2, it was more like Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. And that really sucks. As for things that I disliked about this movie, there was one. Warner Brothers, as I'm aware, was planning on cutting two of the opening scenes in this movie. One of them being young Diana in this athletic competition, and two was the mall sequence, which I'm very happy they kept the mall sequence in, but I'm very disappointed about the opening sequence with young Diana. I understand that there is some important significance why they put that in there, but it felt out of place. With the rest of the movie being set in the 80s and the cheesiness of the rest of the movie, the opening felt like it belonged in the first movie, or in an entirely different movie. It just didn't belong, and it just made the movie even longer. Another thing I really want to talk about this movie is its length. It's a 2 hour and 35 minute long movie, and it is long. A lot of this movie really, really, really drags. You could have cut 45 minutes out of this movie, I feel like. There were so many moments where you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Why do I need to see this? Why do I give a crap about this? It does have moments of character development, which is definitely okay, because I want to give a crap about these characters. But a lot of the things that they're doing, and a lot of just sitting around or doing this, I felt could have been cut. A lot of this movie felt unnecessary to me. The movie was supposed to release back in December of 2019. And Then, of course, because of COVID and various other things, it was getting pushed again, and again, and again, and again. And then it finally released on HBO Max and in whatever theaters were open on Christmas Day. You can't tell me that you've pushed this movie back this many times and it has as many technical errors as it does. I honestly thought Kristen Wiig was fantastic in this movie. She was really, really good. But there was a certain thing about her that just really put me off every single time they showed her. And it especially happens when she's wearing her glasses. And it's not even in just one scene. It's almost every scene when she's wearing glasses, you see green screen reflections in her glasses. How do you miss something like that? The movie's budget cost $200 million. And you can't take the green screen out of the glasses every single time she's wearing them. And it's not only that, the ending of the movie has a Wonder Woman versus Cheetah battle. And you wondered why it has to happen at night, and it's because they were trying to mask out the terrible CGI for the Cheetah character when she goes full-blown cheetah. It's awful. It's for a movie that has this big of a budget, you expect more. You expect better visual effects. And a lot of this movie is gorgeous, but then how do you give us something like that? It almost reminds me of that underground train battle in Black Panther. It's inexcusable. It's awful. You can't release something like that, and obviously a lot of people don't really give a crap about something like that. They just want to watch the movie. But you... Come on, have a little respect for your movie. There were even several moments where Wonder Woman was running, and it looked like they kind of just like clipped her, and then just moved her along the screen. It was, again, very off-putting. And the one thing I really, really want to talk about is Chris Pine's character in this movie as Steve Trevor. Obviously, we know he was in the first Wonder Woman movie. He died in the first movie, and you know that he comes back in this film because of Diana wishing on the wishing artifact to bring the love of her life back. And that's fine. But why the hell is he coming back in another man's body? There is no moment where that even feels explained. I'm sitting there and wondering, why did he have to come back in this person's body? She made a wish. Can he just magically appear in his normal Steve Trevor body? You would think, but for some stupid reason, he winds up in this guy's body. When he sees his reflection, he sees the other guy. He's living in the other guy's apartment. But for some reason, he's normal Steve Trevor, just in this guy's body, and it was never explained. I remember after about an hour of the movie, and I paused it to get up to go to the bathroom, and I looked at my wife and I was like, this isn't as bad as what people are saying. And I felt it was very misunderstood, and I think people took the cartoonish acting way too seriously. I feel like that was something that they were doing on purpose with this movie. And I think people misunderstood that. But then the movie kept going, and going, and going, and going. And it just was such a letdown. I loved the first Wonder Woman movie. It is a very serious movie. It's got its funny moments, but it's a serious movie. It's a really good superhero movie. But you can't make the first movie as serious as it was and give us the sequel where it is one giant Saturday morning cartoon. Like I said, there were things I liked about this movie, but unfortunately there were more disappointing things than that. I'm going to give this movie a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It really sucks that I didn't like this movie. I was very excited. But anyway, thank you to whoever watched this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share around, and I hope you all have a good day.